Good afternoon, everybody. Is that it? We're done? Good. Any questions? Dwayne did a nice job with us this year, mostly as a scout team quarterback, but he came in every day. He prepared. He gave us great looks in practice, and we're hopeful to see what he has to give us moving forward.
The new quarterback in the mix.
And now we get into this part of the process. I know different people see the combine different ways, but
Given all the free agents that you've had coming up, wide receiver position, and the depth of this wide receiver class, what priority do you guys have in possibly extending Deontay during this offseason?
Everybody that's 1 year out, we don't do a business with them most of the time until we get through our current business, which is unrestricted free agency, then the draft, and usually we'll move into that group. But it's not a given. It's not a hard line, but that's usually when we've taken care of that business.
With the new QB in the mix, this would be a Najee Harris year.
the most important thing is the makeup.
I hope Najee can build off of what he did for us last year. It was a good start. It wasn't the start that he envisioned. I think he thinks there's more. We think there's more, but it's certainly great to have him as part of it.
This draft class of quarterbacks, people are saying maybe there's not even a top 10 caliber quarterback. Maybe you see somebody slip the first quarterback to the team. Maybe has landed you guys in the 20s. Do you buy that, or once the draft comes, quarterbacks always get pushed up the
I believe it's a quality class. There might not be the number of players at that position that there have been in the past, but it's certainly good quality, and there's going to be starting NFL quarterbacks coming out of this class for sure.
Kev, is Juju something of a priority in the offseason, or is it kind of wait to see?
Juju did a great comeback from the shoulder injury that he suffered. And much to our surprise, he was available to us late in the season in the playoff game. And we commend him for doing that, for putting his free agency thoughts aside and just trying to help us win a playoff game. And we take that into account, and we really give him credit for having done that. So Juju's been a great player for us. He's still a young player as well, so we'll definitely take that look.
Engaging the quarterback, make sure we go through the process of finding the right way to open up.
As we go through the interviews, we learn more and more about each player every time we interview them, and we'll reference some things we may have seen during the season, maybe an interaction with a teammate, maybe an interaction with a coach, maybe an action during a game, and we'll just continually ask the questions to try to nail that part down. But in all honesty, you won't know that until that player's on your own team.
His last year, he was back up in the first round, grabbed Lamar Jackson, kind of left the team in good hands with the quarterback position. This is your final draft. How important is it to you to that quarterback position?
We won't narrow it to any one position. We never have, never will. Quarterback is obviously a huge position in any given season, especially this year with our Hall of Fame quarterback calling it a career. So is it different this year? Yes. But is it going to change how we approach things? No.
Trying to win now. Now the team's trying to have our cake
So far, you guys have been extensive replacements. What do you think about the years?
One more time, please. Oh, for the GM position? It's been great. I mean, there's a lot of qualified folks. We have two qualified people within our own organization, in Brandon Hunt and Omar Khan. And what I've tried to do is to give Art, Mr. Rooney, quality people that I think could be general managers. And honestly, through the process to this point, we've come out of this very impressed because it's a great group of young professionals that are trying to advance. Yeah, we'll never comment on any veteran or a college guy, just to kind of cut off those kind of questions. All the individual questions will be kept in-house. Yeah, we'll look at every potential to replace any given player at any given position. We'll always start with the trade market, the unrestricted free agency, the college draft, players that may get cut throughout the spring, college free agents after the draft. There's a lot of different avenues that players can come from, and it's our job to keep up with each and every one of them.
Your roster sits where it is. Are you prioritizing a veteran quarterback or
starting over?
I would say we're open again to any. We have two vets in Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins. They both started NFL games and they've won games. So we think we have two capable NFL quarterbacks. How we add to that, I couldn't say because it'll just continue to evolve, as I mentioned.
Have you ever drafted a tackle in the first round in your tenure? Is that coincidence or is there something?
Why are you testing my memory, Mari? I wasn't here. I believe Marvell Smith was the highest we had taken back in 2001, I believe, or two. I can't remember. No, I think it was 2000. Either way, I believe Marvell was the highest. And again, we'll look at every position. There's good quality at that position in this year's draft for sure. As in recent years, the tackle position, it's had unusual depth, and this year is no different.
There's no reason why you haven't taken a first rounder.
Yeah, I mean, we never go in saying we're taking a position or not taking a position. We just try to take the best players.
You talked a little bit about the depth that you have at certain positions in this draft, whether or not they're positions of strength or weaknesses, kind of like tackle, wide receiver being a position of strength. In terms of the free agency class, talking your Boy Scouts, how would you evaluate the free agency class as a whole? Strengths or weaknesses from what you see talking your Boy Scouts and how you guys might evaluate?
Yeah, the free agency class is always an unknown because most of the top players, they'll either sign a contract before they hit free agency or they'll get a franchise or transition tag. So we go into it, and a lot of times those players never make it to the market. And we understand that. We try to do that ourselves. So that's still a very wide open situation, and we can't even talk to their agents until the given 2-day period. So we don't even know who might be available, even though we may have them rated. Coach Tomlin came to me and said, I think I'm going to add Coach Flores. I said that would be awesome. Brian Flores is an NFL successful head coach and defensive coordinator, and I was excited to have him. And as I mentioned to Coach Flores when he first came into the office, I really like his background because he started out in the personnel world. So some of the experiences and beliefs that he has from personnel as well as coaching can only help us.
Kevin, at quarterback, and looking at the trade market and free agency, what's your willingness to make a big move, whether it's spending a lot of money or giving up a lot to get somebody?
Every time you have to make that type of decision, you discuss your draft capital and not only what pick it might be, but what player you might be walking away from given a position or a certain player at that position. Same thing if it's unrestricted free agency, you're looking at the market, what that cap dollar that you may apply to one position can do to another. So it's a give and take. It's never done, honestly, until you get through free agency, then the draft, and it's a mix and match.
Free agency more expensive this year since the bigger jump in the cap from last year, even though they had to go back last year, but bigger jump.
Well, last year was obviously an unusual year for not only the NFL, but life in general in the business world and everything. So, of course, it was different in the NFL. We had the lower cap. We all had to adjust. Everybody got through it, albeit maybe not in the manner that they wanted. It will be higher this year. Can that adjust? Will those same players be able to get the type of dollars they're looking for? That's something we'll find out here in the next few weeks. It was, because going into last year, pre-COVID and the reduction, we knew that was a big free agency class for us, and we knew that would be a specific challenge. So going into it, we knew it was tough. Obviously, the reduction in the cap due to the COVID and the decreased revenues made it even tougher, but it made it tougher for everybody, and we all had to do what we could do.
You started talking to your own free agents?
Every time when we get through the exit interviews, Coach Tomlin and myself always talk to the players and talk about what we thought the type of player we thought they were last year and the type of player we think they are moving forward. We leave the doors open. We ask them to do the same for us.
Is it unique in all the projected first-round quarterbacks in this draft played in your home stadium? I assume you probably got more exposure to Kenny Pickett than what most quarterbacks.
Yeah, we never take for granted anybody. Obviously, we have a very close proximity to Pitt, but honestly, we never see those players more than because we have scouts all around the country. We never take for granted that we know that player better than a player from the West or anything like that. So we try to treat them all equally so as to not prejudice our evaluation. And sometimes it's a little harder because people expect us to know more about the Pitt players than maybe the players at USC, but honestly, we really don't.
I know that Mike makes the coaching hires, but what was the thought process behind bringing in Frisman Jackson and Pat Meyer?
Well, Coach, again, as you mentioned, Brooke, he makes those decisions. He makes decisions as to who's staying and who he'll bring in. He will come to me every once in a while, and not every time, but he'll say, I'm thinking of hiring so-and-so. Do you know him, or do you know anybody that knows him or anything about him? And I'll give him input when he asks for it. And that's most of the time he'll do that. But when he doesn't bring a coach back, that's his decision, and who he adds, it's also his decision. Ooh, I need a lot of thought on that one. That's a big varying question. I don't know the specific what you're looking for in that. Can you narrow it down a little bit?
Yeah, and it really starts with assessing. We have to take advantage of every touch point we have with our players and our process because the most important thing is to make. And so whether it's combine,
yeah, any type of rules or considerations like that, that's a CBA type of issue that would have to be negotiated between the NFL and the Players Association. So that's much too broad for me at this podium. I got to imagine the stuff I can handle, and I can't handle that one.
Sir, last year, TJ Watt kind of went through quote-unquote Coleman of sorts during training camp, and you guys found out it didn't before the start of the regular season. Do you anticipate the same thing happening with both those things?
I guess I can say we continue to utilize as much as it allows us to do.
Again, we always deal with that 1 year removed process after we get through the here and nows. Minka Fitzpatrick's a great player. We're fortunate to have him. Do we want him to be a part of the Steelers? Of course. But we'll deal with that at the appropriate time.
Kevin, when you think about the 3 times in your career that you traded up in the first round, when you look back at it, did you kind of have a sense all 3 times that you were going to do that? Did they come together at the last minute?
A little bit of everything, because you go in with an idea about who may be available via trade through our various calls. You'll continue to gather information on the evaluations of those players, and then you get into the specifics as to what you're trading away from. As I mentioned earlier, we try not to just say it's a third and a sixth. That third could be Emmanuel Sanders and Antonio Brown. So we're always trying to put a name with a pick in a given year and make sure that we think that's an equal trade.
So we have to make sure we assess the value of nostalgia for you being in Indianapolis. On the other side of that, it's important to assess their.
I just remember when this used to be a lot smaller and easier to get around. But no, it's been great. It's always a great process. Enjoy it immensely, and yeah, I look forward to it every year. It happens. It seems like it takes forever. Then all of a sudden it's over and we got to move on to the next phase. But we really enjoy this process. Coach Tomlin enjoys it because he really gets involved in the player evaluations, and it's big for both of us. What we did was we went through, there's the March 1st rule where a team cannot deny you access to an individual. After March 1st, they can. So we tried to go through and pick out the folks that we thought we could interview from other teams. We'll continue to look at maybe guys that are still under contract as we move forward. Folks that aren't under contract we may look at as well. But we'll continue the follow-up after the draft. We're going to, with the people under contract, we're going to respectfully leave them to their teams And our focus will really be on trying to get this draft and free agency correct, and then we'll deal with it after the draft.
The opportunities that we have in all three phases, we have opportunities. We have how much that's what happened here.
One more time, please.
Just in terms of the quarterbacks that are available in this draft, how many people do you think teams have give up less? What happens to less or acquire this?
I think every given year is unique. This class is this class. You're not going to make them, you're not going to create more, you're not going to create less. They are who they are as players, and as I said, I think there's quality starters available at that position for sure.
Guys, one more.
How do you evaluate guys like Banner and Dodson, guys who won starting jobs, but hardly haven't been out on the field all the time?
Yeah, those players didn't contribute for us as we expected last year, and we expect more. And we expect more opportunities, and I believe they'll have those opportunities. But in all honesty, they need to give us more than we got last year, and some of that was health related, and we understand that. But we also understand that we need more, we need better, and we're going to work to try to get that. Thank you.